welcome back to our new grow. Today we are at the allotment. As you can see, a lot of work to be done. I'm not exactly sure how long I will have, because when I arrived here about 15 minutes ago, my thought was we're not gonna have rain until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've just had an alert on my phone to say that we were in flood alert. Doesn't mean that, we were in flood alert yesterday and we just had normal rain. But we're in flood alert from 12 o'clock. It's currently 10:42 in the morning. That doesn't give me an awful lot of time. So I think we'll try to crack on with the priority, which is the weed around this place here, because it's a mess. And if we've got any more time, we'll try to move over there, try to direct things a bit better. I don't have the rope with me, so I will not be able to tie the courgette, but anyway, I was just checking, they're a bit small still, so I don't think I'm going to be able to tie them on properly. I'll probably need to wait for them to be a bit longer, and then at the point where they are movable. And yeah, I don't think there's an awful lot, if anything at all, to be harvested. There's definitely some weeding to be done amongst the veg, but really the priority is here. So as expected, unfortunately, I have not been able to make it at the allotment since the last time we filmed, which was Monday. So it's Sunday today, so it's been almost a week, an extra week after the 2.5 weeks that we've not been about. But things are not looking much worse. They're not looking better, but they're not looking much worse. So hopefully we'll be able to tackle some of that. I need to go and get the bags from the car. I've just realized that I don't have any of my tools, but I'm pretty sure most of those weeds will be pulled out by hand and it will be fine. I'm not looking at doing something absolutely perfect in there just now. I just want to pull them out and get things a bit tidier. Obviously there's stuff to be pulled out as well, mostly the giant lettuce there. If I can, I'll pull them out today. I'm not sure if I will have time for this. It's really not a priority. Anyway, as I've mentioned, I don't have an awful lot of time, so I better crack on. I'm gonna go and get the bags. I'm gonna put you on time lapse, and I'm gonna try to tackle this. And I also need, actually, when I'm looking at it just now, it might be a bit late because we've had some heavy rain. Oh, it's a bit tricky to come over here. No, there is still plenty of seeds. So I will be collecting the seeds. I'm not touching them because if I touch them, they will all fall out. I'm going to try to collect the seeds from my aquilaja as well. I was hoping to keep them separate because there's some that I really like and some that are just meh. Fortunately, I've tried to look through the footage that I've got from this side, and it's just not, it's really difficult to know which one is which. So I think I'm just gonna do a big mix it all, hoping that I'm gonna get, when I take a handful, I'm gonna get a mix of everything and just scatter them like that. Let them grow on, and then next year I absolutely need to tag them so I know which one is which, and then I can harvest next year specific one and keep specific one to propagate. Right, let's go then. So I'm currently harvesting the aquilaja, and I thought I was going to show you how I'm doing this. So obviously I'm putting them in a bag and I will process this at home. It's just a lot easier, especially because the pods are quite well open. My only issue is the secateur that I've got is not the sharpest, and you really need something sharp, so you want to pinch and that's it. But what happened is I just cut the heads off just like this, and this is full of seeds, absolutely full of seeds. But rather than emptying each of them and then I'm just putting them in the bag like this, especially because I'm not gonna separate them, so I just need to carefully hold them and I need to saw them off. Unfortunately, it would be easier to just snap them off, but secateurs I've got here, as I've mentioned, are pretty rubbish. But I'm just picking the heads off, just like that. Trying to be careful not to shake the plant too much, because if you do, then potentially the heads are getting shaken about and drop their seeds. And although Aquilegia is good because they produce a ton of seeds, like a lot of seeds, I'll show you that once I've processed all this, which by the way needs to be done pretty soon because it's been raining, so I don't want mold to get to them. The seeds are dry, so that's fine, but the seed heads are wet, so I'll put them in the bag. I'll take them home, and as soon as I'm home, I'm gonna look at pulling the seeds out and storing them properly at this point for the rest of the season. So if I take one of those heads and then pull the seeds out, see if I can show you this. So it's just a case of squeezing them gently to get the seeds out. There we go. And I can't even get them all because they're sticking to my hand. But this is, give or take, this is what we harvested from one single flower. I'm not exactly sure how long you can keep them for. I tend to replace my stock every year, but I've already used some like 3 years old seeds. Was great results, so I'm not exactly sure how long you can keep them, but I suppose the fresher the better. In the case of Aquilegia, if just one plant that grows is enough to do for the following year, unless you want to do a field of them. So it's worth just replacing them, you know, scatter them all, give them away, phantom sow them. That's a good way as well. There you go. So all this has been cleared now. All the Aquilegias are gone. All the weeds in here. Still a few, you know, here at the front. Obviously, I haven't done this bit or there yet. But this will be for next time. I need to take the streamer as well with me next time I'm coming because I need to do the pass. And this is actually something that I have been thinking about for the past couple of weeks, give or take. Obviously, I'm due a video to explain the big changes and how I see the layout of the plot. The thing is, obviously, I've got to tidy the plot. I've got my regular vlogs, but I'm really due a plot tour. The thing is, there's not much point to do a plot tour when literally the last plot tour was done on the last day I was working in here, if it makes sense. So I'm hoping to get that done at some point next week after doing a bit of work in here, and it will look a bit different. Greenhouse is not a problem, it will look different. And here there's not really an awful lot that's been happening. So anyway, this is not where I was heading. I would like to do this I don't actually know how I'm gonna call it, but this video where I'm gonna show you the layout of the greenhouse, the garden, how I'm planning to do the different sections of the garden and the big plan for the garden. But what I've been thinking is, so the path right behind me here is it's weed, but it's mostly grass. Although the grass doesn't look too good because it's growing on top of weed membrane. On this side, although it looks like grass as well there, this is actually stepping stones. Or so I'm hoping. It should be stepping stones. If it's stepping stones, my plan is to take them out. I will save them because I've got plans for them for in the near future. Again, I'll go over this later on. But, and please don't think I'm crazy. I would like to grass the path. I was going to do bark at first. I was going to just put a membrane and put some bark, or no membrane, just put some bark, and that means that I could just scoop it and mulch over winter my beds every couple of years or so. But actually, I do like the thought of having a grass path. So where I'm standing just now, it's currently a path, but remember, all this will be reopened, or it's the plan anyway at some point to reopen all this as one big growing space. So I'm just going to have some paths which probably will be either just soil or bark. I will see, it just depends. I believe that on a no-dig bed, the soil doesn't really stick to your shoes. That's what Charles Dowding claims anyway. And to some extent, it is true. I've not really been around here and thinking, oh, my feet are sticking to, or the soil is sticking to my shoes or anything. So if that's the case, I don't need to mulch, or I don't need to mulch paths, if it makes sense. But if I need to, I will use bark in here. For the rest, I would love to have a grass path because it looks nice. Because I don't know, I just like the thought of having a grass path. And yes, it's more work for me. It's, but not really. I think that's the point. Is yes, but no. So basically, it will be more maintenance, like regularly more maintenance, mowing, or more likely just trimming. But it also gives me some grass that I can use in the compost. Although I'm not lacking in grass with what I've got at home, but I will get some grass which I can mulch with, or which I can use in the compost. What I will also do is, if I was to bark all this, is I would have to pick regularly the weeds popping through. Here I don't need to do this if I have grass, so it will have to be maintained more regularly, if it makes sense. But the maintenance will be much easier. That's the rain starting, so yeah, it's okay. It's not as much as I wanted to do, but it's something anyway. That was just over an hour, so I'm confident that the rest will take me about an hour. It's a bit smaller space plus the inside, so yeah, about an hour to finish this section. It's not going to take me an awful lot of time. Then at that point, I can start moving things around, try to clear some space. In fact, considering looking for pallets. There was some that were meant to be for me there at the back, but I think someone who didn't know, fair enough, took them away. But I'm actually thinking that I'm gonna just empty those two right down here, and or right along this bit here, right along there, because this is gonna be, I think, definitely a flower meadow between the two plots. Now we just need to work out if we are going to replace the edging or not, because those ones are pretty done. So I need to speak to Tony at this point and see what we are planning to do for the bit in between the two plots. And then, yeah, empty those two compost bins in there, and potentially I could already build the compost base. I just need to source 2 or 3 pallets. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. No, what am I talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pallets. 5 pallets. 6 pallets, 7 pallets. I need to measure. I can't remember if I can do 2 or 3 bays. I think I've worked it out. I could do 3 bays here, but that was using, and it's really starting to rain, so I really need to stop now. But that was getting rid of the steps right there, and then it's just, I think it's going to be a bit too much. It was a good idea at first, but I think it's going to be a bit too much. So I think I might just go for a 2 bay in here and potentially use the step, if it makes sense, like right down here, like down the step. This bit is pretty much flat and it's still on my plot, so I'm thinking that I might use this to do a bit of a cage or a box for leaf mold. I don't know, I will see, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do the 3 bay system along this, because it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be quite difficult to get this out. I need to see all the steps moving. But anyway, now at least I know that this is done and I can potentially just start with this project already. There's still a lot of work to do. But unfortunately, it's not going to be today. The rain is definitely coming. Let's wrap things up. And I'll see you probably tomorrow. I don't think I will be this afternoon. But probably tomorrow in the greenhouse. We have a lot of work in there. A lot of work. You'll see. See you there. Welcome back to the greenhouse. So, as you can see, it's a bit of a jungle in here. So it's now been a week since I came back from the holidays. So those tomatoes were planted 3 weeks ago. They have not yet been fed. I should have started. I should really have started, but I have not started yet. The reason is it's a jungle enough as it is. In fact, I've got one in here, which is lying down here, which is actually should be right here. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure if it's even I think that's the main one and this is the side shoot, and right. So we need to tackle this. It's priority, obviously, for today. The one thing that I have done in here, I've not really done anything. I probably should have. The reason I've not done it is I wanted to record this, and well, the way it worked for me, I couldn't really record. The only thing that I have done is, well, you can't quite see it, but down there, the cucumber, because one of them was getting tangled into one of the hose for the watering, and the other one was about to break because it's this tall, like literally it comes just under my chin, maybe a bit less, but anyway, they're getting really tall. Again, nothing in here has been fed yet. We're going to do this today once we've tidied everything, and I'm genuinely not even sure where I'm going to start. I'll do my best to film some of that, but to be fair, if you go back to one of my first video, which specifically talks about the tomatoes, it's last year around about the same time, and this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm cutting off the side shoot. As I go through the plants and start tidying things, we will be able to see a bit clearer, but there is actually some black moon tomatoes, obviously, which are, I think, not far off being ready to be harvested. There's just maybe a 2 on each of the 2 plants. I think it's 2. I can't remember exactly how many plants of each. I should have kept a note of this, but I've got the tags on each of them. So as soon as I can access, and actually I see some more fruits down there, which actually I can actually see. I see the black moon because they stand out. They're really black and shiny compared to the foliage, so it's easy to see, but the fruits, which are just now green, it's hard to tell. Anyway, I'm gonna put you on here, put the time lapse on, and see what I can do to tidy all this. So wish me luck, and I'll see you after. that's it. A bit more presentable, a bit more light coming through as well, and actually a lot of fruits growing, which I'm really happy with. The raisin traub, I mean, fortunately this one is a bit snapped, so I don't know if this one will go on. I think I'm just going to tie it up here and hoping that's going to work. But look at the amount of flowers on this one. I'm not going to manipulate this one too much. And it's the same here. It's really impressive. Obviously, the raisin shrub are cherry tomatoes, but the amount of tomatoes on them is just incredible. And if I manage somehow to take you here at the back, you'll be able to see again 100. I cannot see anything because the leaves are all over the screen, but all this bunch here is all flowers, and the first tomatoes are on here, and the leaves are zooming in for me. Thank you very much, leaf. You're welcome. As you can see, spending too much time with tomatoes is not good for your mental health. I'm only kidding. It's great. I just hate the smell of that. A few times you probably saw me smelling my fingers and going, ugh. I hate the smell of tomatoes. I don't know why so many people like the smell of tomatoes. I just hated the smell of tomato. Well, fresh tomatoes. I'm talking about the plants, obviously. And I'm throwing another another side sheet. So the side sheet, and I'm going to show you in a minute the black moon. The side shoot was so big that some of them actually had side shoot on them. So yeah, that's how bad it was. I was considering keeping a few. Some of them were pretty much as tall as the plants themselves. But I just can't. I don't have space for that. If I had the other greenhouse, I would definitely have done it and planted them in the other greenhouse, and it would have given me a small harvest from this. If you have the space, please do it. And I do mention that in the video that I've mentioned before, like one of my first video where I was talking about this. And at the time we did a small experiment that was later in the season, and I've just planted it and it started rooting and started growing again. So that's definitely worth doing if you want to minimize or menu. So I feel like for us, it's not overly, well, for us here, talking again, my climate, 9B, you know, in the west of Scotland, it's not really worth it because the seasons are not long enough. It's already a rat race throughout the whole season to try to get a few ripe tomatoes. And that's the reason why I went for mostly cherry tomatoes this year. We don't really have time for our season to grow side shoot big enough to then plant, because it also takes energy from the main plant, which then stop producing in height and fruits and so on, or flowers and then obviously fruits. But also by the time you plant them, they start rerouting, and it is quite quick. Don't get me wrong, it is quite quick, but we are pretty much, give or take, at the end of July at this point. If I'm doing this, it's going to be what, early September before they start producing flower. That gives me 4 weeks if I'm lucky, really if I'm lucky. So it's just not long enough, so it's not really worth it. Right, let me show you now the black cherry, the black moon, not black cherry, black moon. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're not quite ready yet. There's another couple up there, and this leaf that's caught in there, I'll untangle this later on. I think those ones are also, yes, it's another raisin traub, which again, as you can see, big bunch of flower, slightly higher up as well, big bunch of flower. The one thing I would say, the black moon is not the most productive. Again, there's probably a dozen on each stem, whatever you want to call them. They were the one that grew the fastest. Really, they were the biggest one. And look at them just now. They are the only one, and by miles. Well, this is pretty much the biggest one we've got just now, which is not quite there. There's a good, 10, I was going to say 10 foot, no, 10 inch or something like that. Well, we have reached the window, the glass at the top. So I'm I might just try to direct them or might try to stop them. I'm not exactly sure. I'm hoping to be able to test the one down there before I make a decision. See if it's worth continuing this or not, or if I should just stop them right there and let the fruit grow, because that's quite a decent amount. And I'm gonna pick this wee bugger off. Sorry for all the animal cruelty people, but I'm not a big fan of them in my greenhouse, and they're absolutely fine. They're in the green now and they'll have plenty to eat. The other thing I've done is removed every other cucumber, as I've mentioned, cleared it a bit. So now I've got probably three or four on each that are maturing just now, which will let the plant grow a lot bigger. We'll do the feed as well, which is definitely necessary. Right, anyway, I'm going to turn off the camera a minute because I need both hands for this, and I'm going to try to tie that flower that's kind of broken but still holding on for dear life, or that flower, that bunch of flower. I mean, there must be at least 50 flowers on that. It's just incredible. So I'm going to tie this one up nicely, gently, just loosely, hoping that it will keep it alive. So a really productive week, if I can say so, despite the minimal effort done around the garden. A bit of weeding done at the allotment, which makes things look a lot better now. So I'm really happy with that already. Definitely a lot more work to get the place under control, but I'm quite happy with the way things are going. And here I'm over the moon. Honestly, the tomatoes, it really came as a surprise, especially with the raisin trap. Obviously, we've discovered this all together, which was quite nice. As genuine, I wasn't expecting them to look so good. There is obviously some more work to do. As you can see here, I've got a Nagina, which are still in there, 3.5 liter or whatever, 3 liter pots right here, which need to be transplanted, and the shelf here need to be removed so I can plant them in there. So there's still work to be done. I'm also working just now on, and I don't, most probably can tell, but I don't prepare my vlogs. I should probably, that would save me a lot of editing at the end of the day, but I don't prepare my vlogs. Nothing is scripted, and very rarely I would think about what I'm gonna say next, which is just, that's the way I am. But I'm currently working on the video that will just explain how the allotment will turn into, and how I'm seeing things for the allotment. And for this one, I am preparing a bit of a guideline, not a script as such, but a guideline of how I'm going to develop this to make sure that I'm not missing anything, that I'm not spending hours talking about the same thing, because that's something that I do quite often. Just now, in fact, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But yeah, so I'm working on this at the moment. I'm hoping not this week, but next week, depending on the weather, to film this as well. It's going to require a bit more work in terms of the filming, because I'm going to get drone footage in the way. I'm going to try to do a bit of sketching, and I'm terrible at drawing. Even a stickman is just too much for me. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but this is the plan. But I just want to kind of take my time to get something interesting, entertaining, but mostly that will cover the whole lot, and then you will be able to understand my vision for the allotment on the fairly long term. Not everything will be done this year, and I will definitely highlight this. Not everything will be done this year. This is more like the plan for what I would like to see at the end of the journey, what I want to see the plot to look like, and at that point, it's pretty much going to be maintenance. We all know that there's going to be changes on the way, and then, but yeah, I'm actively working on this just now, which is actually really exciting. So I'm looking forward to share that with you guys. Thank you very much for following the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Make sure to tick the bell so you know when the next video comes out. If you like this video, a thumb up would really help the channel. And recently I've realized as well, and it's I do say every so often leave a comment and so on, but I would like to insist this time on asking you to please leave a comment this time. It seems that the algorithm now include this more and more into um, the algorithm, obviously the way that they are evaluating the videos, and obviously the fact that I've got so many views, so many likes, but hardly any comments probably doesn't work in my favor. So if I can just ask you to take a few seconds just to say, even just say hi, or even just, just tell me how your week's been, what you're harvesting at the moment. I would love to know. I've always put in the description how has your day, your week been, what have you been harvesting. That's really things I'm genuinely interested in knowing. And I'm just loving this relation I've got, like distant relation I've got with you guys, because it's a very lonely hobby. I'm standing in front of a camera talking to myself, then I'm gonna go home and listen to myself for about 2 hours editing all this and then post this on YouTube, and then afterwards the only feedback I have, the only connection I have with the people that actually watch this video with you is the comment section. So please, please, please leave a comment down there. Let me know how you're getting on with your garden. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know if you've got any tomatoes and if yours are looking better than mine, which I doubt, but you never know. They might. Thank you very much for watching the video this week, and I hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye.